Hello guys, welcome to Red Feather Farms. We're on a field trip today. We're in Arkansas, Damascus, Greenbrier,
Twin Groves.
Twin Groves. we're in Arkansas today, and we're at Bending Tree Ranch. We're here with Pat Cotten. Pat Cotten raises Tex Masters and Tennessee meat goats. She'll give you a little bit more about what all she raises. We're actually here. We're coming down to help Pat do some feet trimming and whatever else that she needs done working to her goats. Met Pat, I guess, 7 or 8 years ago, I guess.
Yes, it's been a while.
It's been a while when we bought our first buck. I'd been researching the buck that we wanted to put on our goats. We had Boer Kiko does, and I really wanted a Tennessee meat goat buck to put on them. And from my research, now Pat may correct me, but from my research, there's only 2 places in the United States to get good Tennessee meat goats and good Tex Masters, and that's Bending Tree Ranch right here in Arkansas,
Yes.
and Onion Creek Ranch, which is run by Suzanne down in Texas. And my understanding is that you and Suzanne work together in the breeding programs. You know each other. You help her with goat camp,
Right.
and all that stuff. So we're here today. I wanted to let you guys know it's been a big blessing to us to know Pat, because she's the one that really started us off with our breeding program and our foundation. She sold us a buck that she really wasn't going to sell.
No, I was not.
And we loved him, Pat.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody loved Atlas. He lived a very long life.
he did. Had a good life.
And he had a good life. That's right. He had a good life. We got a huge amount of great foundation females out of him. I always said he produced better females than I thought he did males, but that's what we were wanting to produce. And we got our second buck from Pat, which happened to be a Tex Master buck, to put on what we had bred from there. And so without any further ado, Pat, I want you to tell us a little bit about Tennessee meat goats and Tex Masters and what you do here. I understand you ship all over the world, or you have before.
I have done several exports, a couple of Canadians, and then Australia. And my goats in Australia have been the foundation for a breed called the Contender goat that Paul Hamilton has created. So that's pretty exciting.
That's a lot. I was actually in a Kiko goat. They had a big sale and things, and they had people coming in to teach, and there was a guy there out of Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And I went up and talked to him about Tennessee meat goats. I said that that's what I raised, and he said that they had came. We got to talking about it. He said they had came and bought bucks and some goats from you to carry to Virginia to put into a research center.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool. Small world.
It is a small world. It's amazing. Yes, Suzanne Gasparotto is actually the creator of the breed, the Tennessee meat goat, which is nothing more than a mytonic goat that has been selectively bred for over 30 years for their meat traits.
Okay.
So it's just, there is no other breed crossed into it. Tex Master was developed to meet the commercial demands, and it's Tennessee meat goat over Boer, and then Boer Tennessee meat goat crosses for 7 generations. And then she has, it's considered its own breed. We do have a herd book for it with Pedigree International.
Okay.
And it's just really kicked off, the Tex Master breed has.
Well, Pat, why did you select the Tex Masters and the Tennessee meat goats over, say, other breeds out there, meat breeds, we'll say, for example, Boer? Some people even breed Savannahs for meat. Mm-hmm. But why did you select those over it?
Well, I started with Boer Nubian and Boer Spanish goats. Then I got into full-blood Boers. But the second goat we ever bought was a half stiff leg, as they called them in Texas. This is before I met Suzanne, and half Boer. Mm-hmm. And it was the meatiest of all my goats. She was just a tank. And so I started researching stiff legs, and I found Suzanne Gasparotto. And after I went to take a tour of her farm and talk to her about breeding, I knew that's exactly what I wanted to do. I did continue with the boars. My last boar was sold in 2013. The last breeding with boars was in 2010. But I got tired. They were a lot more work. We had more hoof issues. I kid in the winter months. That's what works best for me. But I would have kids that would freeze to death. I would be up and down all night checking those that were kidding. We kid in pastures. We don't kid in barns.
Is that because the mothers didn't have the good mothering qualities?
Well, it wasn't so much the mothers. It's just those kids are so big, and they need a nap right after they're born. They don't jump right up and start nursing and get that colostrum in them to help keep them warm.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Tex Masters and the TMG kids are up immediately.
Yeah, that's what I found.
Their little lips are smacking, and they're looking for mom's teeth. So I don't worry about them. I don't get up in the middle of the night anymore. My goats take care of their babies. They birth them, and I'll check on them in the morning and do a head count on who's kitted. And I'm just at that point. I need less work for me.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Kind of as we get a little older, that becomes a big priority for us.
It is a big, and you know, it's hard too. You certainly can't get anybody to come in and take care of them if you're sick or something like that. Nobody's going to get up all night and make rounds of pastures, because I've got more than one pasture. And so this way I don't have to worry about it. I've got live kids, I've got healthy kids, I've got thriving kids, you know, ones that just low maintenance.
Have you found that by using the TMGs and the Tex Masters, that those animals that you do sell to market, that you're getting a better price for because they recognize the muscling on those and the cutability?
The kids finish out at prime. It depends on how they grade. Some places it's like they'll be number one, and some do it backwards. So, but yes, my kids I don't have to do anything extra. I don't have to pin them up. I do have creep out available for my kids when they're on their moms.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do some creep feeding, but I don't have to pull them in, pin them up, feed them up, and send them to market. They go straight from the pasture, the ones that I want to sell.
Well, guys, I can tell you from our experience, we're 8 years, I guess, into our breeding program now, and we've selected. And I know Pat's probably she goes, "Oh my gosh, Dwayne's sending me more pictures again," or he's calling. But she's been really important in helping us in selection. I'll send, "Okay, Pat, what do you think about these? Do I need to keep this one or need to keep this one?" And she's been really good about helping with that. And we appreciate that from our standpoint, because quite frankly, right now, I've got goats at my house that I'm proud for people to come see.
Right.
And it's because of Pat. My wife and I came down, I believe it was Valentine's Day weekend, I think, when we came down and bought Atlas.
Yes.
And we came down, and Pat took us over to the buck pen and was showing us all these bucks, and there was a wether in there at first. Man, I'm going, I like that one, you know. And she goes, "That's a wether," you know. And I keep looking at this wether that you had.
I could have sold him so many times, I'm telling you.
He was a good looking.
He was a good looking wether.
And there was other ones in there. I think Sock Monkey was in there. I can't remember exactly who all else was in there at the time. And we said, okay, well, Kaylee and I went back to the hotel. We were coming back out the next morning to make our decision, and our Atlas was in there. And I kept asking Pat about, well, is he for sale? Is he for sale? You know? And she finally told me, yes, that she would sell him. And I think you were a little heartbroken.
I was. I cried over that buck. As we loaded him, I cried.
But he went home with us, and he was just, we couldn't have asked for a better buck. He was always good-natured. His babies have always been good-natured. Never had a problem working. Once you catch him, you could lead him around, I mean, like a little dog. I mean, He was just, that is, if he wasn't in your back pocket walking around wanting to be petted.
Yeah.
Okay? Never, ever had any trouble out of him. We really loved him. And I knew he was getting on up in age. I tried something that Atlas lived till he was 10 or 11, I guess, which is pretty old for a buck.
Yes.
And the last year that I had him in my breeding program, he actually went to Hayden's house and bred a few does over there, and he had passed away. And Hayden has built a monument for him in where he buried him. So because Hayden had helped us on our place quite a bit, so he was real familiar with Atlas and had loved on him like the rest of us did. But I told Pat, I said, I'm going to try him one more year. Well, I put him on 24 does, and at 9 years old, that's too many does to put a 9-year-old on. And I only got about half my does bred.
Yeah.
And I couldn't blame him. He was doing what he could do. And I told Pat, I got to have another buck. You know my breeding program. Would you select me something? Mm-hmm. And you did. We came and picked him up, and we named him Hawk. So tell us a little bit about how Atlas came to be, and maybe how Hawk came to be. Because Atlas, my understanding, was born here on your place.
Yes.
Okay, you raised him, and of course you raised Hawk. So tell us a little bit of the story behind those, if you could. I'm making you go back and think now, Pat.
You are. I'm trying to think. His mom was a very nice TMG doe. Trying to think. Oh, his sire was one of my favorite bucks, and he got his dad's passed on that personality to Atlas. And that buck I had lost.
That's why you didn't want to get rid of Atlas.
That's why I didn't want to sell him. I lost him when my husband had been diagnosed with a rare disease, and so I had emotional ties to the bucks. In addition to, they were just good bucks.
Yeah.
And but something told me, I know you wanted him. You had looked at him before you came.
Yeah.
Even you'd come down with a friend of yours before that, hadn't you?
When you'd been sending me pictures too.
Yeah. And you kept picking him out, and I kept going, he's not for sale, he's not for sale. But I knew in my heart that you were the perfect fit, and it worked out to be.
Yeah.
So, and I knew I could always come back and get him if I needed to, or borrow him, or whatever. I mean, we just kind of bonded. You and I just had a good working relationship. So, and then Hawk was one of my first breedings with a buck called Show Me the Money. And I knew you needed a really good one. You needed one that expressed a lot of muscling. And I wanted you to have something that was really going to set your breeding standards up high. You already had a really good foundation with Atlas. So I looked through my kids, and I thought Hawk was going to be the perfect fit for you. I kept his twin. And he's not for sale.
Yeah.
But I did show me another breeding season, and then I did sell him. So, but everything that I have gotten out of that line has been consistent out of that sire line. You can put them on weak does, you can put them on great does. You're just going to have kids are going to come out. Well, it's obvious, and you can tell by looking at your goats now. They are stamped with Hawk. He stamps them all. And that's what we're looking for, and that's what I want to see my customers have. I try to work with everybody. Some people are, contact me and ask my opinion. Some people just go on their way and free goats, and they're happy. They'll come back in a couple of years and get another one. But it's to my advantage to make sure that all of my breeding customers have something that's going to make them set apart from others. And that's kind of my goal, and I'm always happy to work with people and help them get there.
You've helped us. I mean, tremendously. Pat, I keep telling you that, and you don't know how much I really appreciate what you've done for us and the genetics that you've allowed us to be able to have, because it's, like I said, we're producing goats now that I'm proud of.
Right.
That look good.
You got there quick. Really, I mean, for most people, it takes a long time but you were lucky too. You came in a time where my quality was getting even better and better. And that's the whole goal, is every year you want your quality to go up.
So folks, I wanted everyone to meet Pat, and we're going to be showing a few pictures. We'll do some trimming and things, and quality genetics here. And more than even quality genetics is quality people. And you're going to, today that's a big thing to look for. We've developed a relationship that that I value more than anything else. So, go out there, find those things. If you're going to do something and have fun, and it be meaningful in your life. And you'll find goat people a lot of times are really good people.
Yes, they are.
Because you got to be to raise goats sometimes. Sometimes we think we're crazy, but that's okay. But Pat, I want to thank you for taking the time to visit with us and tell us a little bit about it. And if you guys want to contact her, you can look on Facebook on Bending Tree Ranch.
That's right.
Matter of fact, I believe it's still up. If your little picture for Bending Tree Ranch is a picture of Atlas.
Yes.
So I tell everybody, well, what'd your buck look like to start with? I say, go to Bending Tree Ranch and look at the picture on Facebook. You can see that. You can also go to our website, or you can get a hold of Pat. That's, I think there's phone numbers on there to be able to get in touch with you. Yes. And so if you're looking for good quality genetics in the Tennessee meat goat and the Tex Master breeds, Bending Tree Ranch is a place to come to.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for watching and getting to know Pat. We strive to bring you information to help you in your homesteading journey, just like Pat has been a key part in ours. If you like our videos, be sure and subscribe and hit the like button. Also, leave us a comment below. Let us know what breeds you're raising or if you're looking at getting in the goat business. As always, until next time, may the sun shine upon your face, the wind be to your back, and your footsteps be sure.